Okay, let's get those cameras on and let's get rocking and rolling. We got a good crowd today, and people are going to keep coming in. So, before I go into this very important lesson that everybody is going to be able to utilize today, tomorrow, the next week after that, and every single day after this point, that's going to help you become more charismatic. That's going to help you build a bigger network. That's going to help you do better on the sales phone, on the sales calls. That's going to help you do better leading your community and your team. This is going to be a very important day. But first, before we go into it, everybody type in the chat. How are you feeling? 1 out of 10. Type in number 1 out of 10. How are you feeling? I'm at a 8.5 today, and I'm usually a 10, but I think it's because I haven't eaten food in about 65 hours. But we're almost done with my fast. I'm gonna break it tonight with a big old lamb shank. I'm going to a Mediterranean restaurant and I'm just gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go crazy, which they don't recommend, but I'm gonna test it for you guys. I'm gonna let you guys know how it is. Okay. So I hope you guys eat a little bit extra for me today. I'm getting my energy up. Here we go. Yeah, if you have recommendations for me on what I should break my fast with, let me know because I think I'm gonna break it at 4 p.m. Eat a little bit light and then 7 p.m. go crazy. It's like a whole lamb, guys. Like I don't know if you ever seen a whole lamb cooked. I'm about to eat that whole crazy thing, and it's gonna be a whole lot of fun. All right, so. I'm seeing some good energy in the chat. I'm not seeing everybody. I'm seeing about half of you putting the energy in the chat. I want you to put it out there, not just for me to see where you guys are, but for you to practice that awareness of like, how are you feeling? 1 out of 10. If you're feeling a 7, why are you feeling a 7? Is it because you need to drink a little bit more water today? Is it because you need more electrolytes? Is it because you need more food? Is it because you didn't get any sunlight today? And the craziest thing is that if we're a 5, there's honestly quick things that we can do. We can go step outside. Sometimes I go out with no shoes on because I live, right outside. There's a lot of grass. So I go out with no shoes. I hit the sunlight, no phone, just my feet. And I go from a 5 to an 8. One of the quickest ways to go from a 5 to an 8 energy is to just go outside. Then I just drink some water. I add some lemon in it, just some salt in it, drink it. I'm from an 8 to a 9. Then I'll do a meditation. I'll feel amazing afterwards. So that's what you guys can do, okay? So what are we going over today? What are we going over today? Type in the chat AOC. AOC. A is in art, O is in octopus, C as in chicken. AOC. So this is going to be one of the greatest things that you're going to take away from these 60 days. If you're new here, welcome in. You just came in to one of the most important lessons of these 60 days. If you've been an OG, amazing. This is going to put everything together into a beautiful basket for you guys. Now, you guys might be saying, where's Andrew today? Andrew's on stage right now, crushing it, using this exact method that I'm going to teach you guys. Okay? What does AOC stand for? No, it is not the person that you're thinking about. AOC is the art of conversation. The art of conversation. Everyone's putting their name in there. No, art of conversation. It is this idea and philosophy of how some person can become so charismatic and magnetic in their conversation that they can attract the things that they really want into their life. Okay? Everybody write this down. The key to wealth, the key to wealth is through conversation. Every single thing that you want is going to happen through a conversation. It's going to happen through a text, an email, a phone call, a one-to-one handshake, and a conversation from there. The key to wealth is going to happen through conversation. We have been very poorly educated on truly how to communicate with people and how to make people like us and how to show ourselves in the greatest capacity and not be unlikable very fast like some people do. Some people are taught to be shy, reserved, and they're taught to be this type of attitude where you're interrupting or you're talking too long or you're saying the things that don't really get you the influence that you know you need. So the art of conversation is this idea of building true influence, being able to attract good people, being able to get exactly what you want just by saying words. Raise your hand. I can see about 40 of you. Raise your hand if you know who Dale Carnegie is. Most of you. Dale Carnegie, he wrote this book. He wrote this book back in the 30s. It was called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Now, that book alone influenced my entire life because when I was 17, I was having connections with millionaires, billionaires, celebrities right away because I read this book early, because I learned how to connect with those type of people. And it's the same way that I'll connect with you, is the same way I'll connect to those millionaires and billionaires and celebrities. So he wrote this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. He would do classes all around the world, and he taught people these set of principles. He taught people these set of principles that allowed us to be charismatic, that allowed us to be likable. He taught us simple things like smile, right? When you're talking to someone, just simply smile. Show those beautiful teeth of yours. Show those beautiful, beautiful pearls. And he said, here's what you do. How do you become the most interesting person in the room? Who knows it? What is the rule to become the most interesting person in the room? It is to be interested. You got to be interested in other people, right? If I'm on the call with you, if a lot of you guys have been on the phone with me, you know, 80% of the time I am talking about you. I am interested in you. I am not talking about me. Some of you guys might not even know my story because I'm just so interested in you. And when the time permits, you might ask me about my story and I'll tell you. I'll tell you that I came from a very dysfunctional family, a very, very broken family ever since I was 2 years old. And I had to learn how to make money for myself because I might have been kicked off, kicked out on the street and have to fend for myself. So I learned how to flip. I learned how to flip clothes. I learned how to flip couches. I made a 10,000 a month income flipping couches, years ago. And then I bought my first property and I learned how to continue doing that. I met Andrew. Me and Andrew we did a bunch of wholesale properties. We did a bunch of Airbnbs. I was a personal trainer for a lot of people. I was training them. I was helping them develop their mindsets and mentalities. And then I started just going and going and going. So some of you guys might ask me and I might say those things. But again, 80% is on the other person. So this is the mentality of being interested, and that is how we become interesting. Okay? And I want you guys to really practice this. This is something that you can genuinely do the moment we get off this phone call. You can call a friend, you can call a family member, you can call a seller, you can go out there, talk to the waitress, the waiter, and you will have some of the greatest conversations that you've ever had. Because I hope you guys get this. What is everybody's favorite topic that everybody loves to talk about? Who knows it? It is themselves. Everybody loves to talk about themselves. This is what here's the vacation I just did. Here's all these things that I did. Boom, 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 boom. But the thing is that if I want to talk about myself so much and you want to talk about yourself so much, we're not going to connect. But now you guys are going to walk away with this lesson. They still want to talk about themselves so much, and you're going to be so interested that you're going to say, wow, what was that? What was that travel like? How was Cancun? What was that like? And they're like, oh my God, it was the greatest thing ever. I met all these awesome people and I did this. You're like, wow, you met all these people. Tell me about that. And it's so much serotonin just being blasted towards you. And it's like, wow, this person genuinely cares. I haven't met someone like that in years. In years, I haven't met someone like that. And they'll say that until they meet you. And all of a sudden, you're asking them these simple questions. Like, where do you spend most of your time? What do where are you most passionate? What are you most passionate about? And now you're going to instantly have those conversations of passion. Everybody type in the chat. UPQ. U as in umbrella, P as in penguin, Q as in, what's a Q word? Quail? UPQ. Everybody type in the chat. UPQ. All right. So over the past 7 years, I have read almost every single communication book that you can read because I was put into a leadership role very young in my age where I've always had to lead a group. I've always had to do sales. You know, the first $1 million we made was just through the conversations we had because I read books about sales. I read books about marketing. I read books about how to influence, how to create influence. So I read about these 7 books, 7 years worth of books, and I scraped them all together. And I basically was able to boil them all down into a couple principles here. Okay. What does UPQ means? UPQ is called unique personal questions. Everybody type in the chat or write it down. Unique personal questions. I want everyone to have this down. This is going to be the greatest tool that you have in your toolbox. And everybody should have a toolbox. And what I mean by that is every conversation that you go into, if you're having a conversation with a multimillionaire who owns a big consumer brand company, or if you're talking to a neighbor, or if you're talking to a seller who has 14 houses they want to sell in a portfolio, you have to have a toolbox for each one. And that is where the art of conversation comes in. Me and Andrew understand this idea that if we go sit down with a private money lender who has $45 million ready to lend out, we have a different toolbox with that person. And I'm going to show you this exact toolbox. All right. So a unique personal question is exactly what it sounds like. It is a question that makes the person go like, wow, that was a really good question. No one's ever asked me that before. Or it's been years since someone asked me that. Right? When's the last time somebody asked you, what do you want to do when you grow up? It's probably been a while. But that question is just like, what is your dream? What is your dream? What do you want to do? The whole world is out there for you. The world is your oyster. What do you want to do with it? And it's a beautiful question. Sharon said, I ask myself that every day. So do I. So do I. So that question, you're not going to go out there and ask a bunch of people, what do you want to do when you grow up? But you are going to ask them this question right here. What is your passion? What are you passionate about? What is your philosophy on life? Where do you spend most of your time? What is your dream? Because guess what? I've had multiple people in my life where it took us 5 years to get to ask the question of like, hey, Jerry, what is your dream, Jerry? We've known each other for 5 years. What is your dream? And then Jerry goes to me and says, Jerry, hey, Leo, thank you so much for asking that question. No one's asked me that in years. And I haven't even thought about it in a while. But years ago, I really wanted to own a bakeries. I really wanted to do that. And now we have a great conversation about owning bakeries. And all of a sudden, I found out that your grandfather was a famous baker and that I know a couple bakers, like I know some of the greatest bakers today, and I put you guys on connected. Now you're always going to attribute that dream to me. And that's not what I care about, but it just happens naturally. That is what it means to be charismatic. Yes, being charismatic means being able to attract people well and being able to come off as confident, all this good stuff. But real charisma is when people say that Mike guy, I don't know, my guy's got something. He's magnetic. He just attracts, he's just his smile. I don't know what it is. He walks in a room, everybody looks at him and just respects him. Right? It's like Michelle's just got this energy. When she walks in a room, it's just like, whoa, she's here. Everyone stops. Everyone can pay attention, sees, and she's just so confident. That is what charisma is. You guys want to have that charisma. Because guess what? If you're on a sales call, you're not nervous anymore. You're just saying, hey, how's it going? You're just getting to know them just as a good friend. You talk to a multimillionaire. You treat them just like you'll treat me. Hey, how's it going? How's your day been going? How's your week been? And they say their week's been good. You know, what'd you do this week? What was the highlight of your week? And they say, okay, I went on a private jet. I gardened with my kids. Garden with your kids. I love garden. I got a black thumb. I'm not really good at gardening. Don't trust me with your plants, but I've always wanted to garden. How do you garden? This is the art of conversation. Always being able to go to the next step. Always being able to look at a situation and say, okay, what can I get? What can I add to this person? So UPQ, unique personal questions, asking these type of questions that make people go, wow, this person's got something going on. I respect you. And here's the answer. Here's my passion. Okay. So give me a thumbs up if you're getting this, if these are good lessons. Good. Amazing. Let's move on. Let's go to the next lesson, okay? When I say the next lesson, I want you guys to type it in the chat so you guys put it down and you remember it. And some of these are so simple, like this one. Ready? This is lesson number 2. The lost art of active listening. The lost art of active listening. Oh man. So when I tell you, when you meet someone who genuinely listens to you and asks you real follow-up questions, you just fall in love with that person. You fall in love with their character. You fall in love with who this person is because they are so incredibly rare. They're so incredibly rare. Howie says, what did you say? I said the lost art of active listening. It is this idea, this foreign idea for some reason, that humans have such a short attention span, especially as of now. There was a study that went out that humans nowadays, that the average of humans have an attention span that of a goldfish, which is 8 seconds long. So when you talk to someone so fast, you'll see their eyes move away. And guess what? We don't want to, but we feel disrespected. We feel like we're not being listened to. We feel like this person doesn't care. So that rapport is immediately broken. And rapport is the ability to connect with someone at a deeper and fast level. Or you might not be listening intently, or the other person might be, thinking so many different things and they interrupt you. And immediately that rapport is broken and it's hard. That's like a chain break in our minds. When someone interrupts us, we're like, oh, they just interrupted us. Okay, they clearly don't respect my words. We subconsciously think those things. You want to limit that as much as possible, but also you want to be able to be that charismatic person that is able to hear the person out. Because how does this relate to real estate? How does this relate to business and sales? It's because most things are already set out there. We just don't listen to actually what they're going through. Mr. Seller, why are you selling the property? Is there something going on? Oh, I'm going through a divorce and I'm just really trying to sell the house. Oh, I'm so sorry. You're going through, my parents, they've been going through a 15-year divorce, which they have. They've been going through a 15-year divorce, and I completely feel you. How's that going? Oh, it's been a tough time. This house has been an absolute headache. And I'm listening to all these things because that's what's going to get them to sell the house. That's what's going to get them to sell the house. But we just don't listen and we don't ask the UPQs, the unique personal questions, to actually get that information out of them. So 2 big lessons we just went over. Ask unique personal questions and be a very intentful listener. It's something we have to practice. Know that we're at a disadvantage with only an 8 to 12-second attention span. So sometimes we have to genuinely get ourselves to care. If we truly care, if we truly listen, if we truly want to know what the person's saying, then we'll be able to listen for as long as we want. Someone who does this really well is Miss Oprah Winfrey. If you pay attention to her, she's locked in with you. She is locked. And that moves on to our next lesson. You ready? Lesson number 3 is mastering eye contact. Oh, this one's good. This one's good because people do not get this right. People do not get this right. Number three is mastering eye contact. This is something that we practice. We practice all of these lessons at the Truca event. And really, where you learn is where you learn through one-on-one conversations. You learn from being in person and both of you knowing that you're practicing this. So I just put that aside for a moment. There's three types of eye contact. There's three types of eye contact and only one that really works. Are you ready for it? All right, give me some pure eye contact if you're ready for that. There you go. I see all the faces coming back. All right. So there's three. I'll give you the first one. I'll give you the first one. Number one is scanning. Okay? Just pay attention to me. This is what they do. Scanning is when you're looking all over, you're looking at the floor, you're given this weird one. Ready? Just the side eye. It's like you're looking at you fidgeting all over. It's like, yeah, I'm listening. Yeah. And it's so awkward. It's the most awkward thing you'll feel is when someone is just scanning, giving, looking at the ground, like, where are you looking? What are you doing? Where's your head? Sometimes it's just, if they're a good friend, I'll grab their face. I'll just, no, look at me. Don't do that. I'm not saying do that. Don't do that. But that's what they do. That's number one. I'm not saying that's the right one. I'm just saying that's one of them. Number two, what they do is they stare and they never really look away. And you could be talking about nothing, but they'll keep staring at you. Let's just say you have an awkward pause. They'll just keep staring. Isn't this kind of uncomfortable? I'm looking directly at my camera. It's more uncomfortable in person, I promise you. So that's what they do. They just stare at you. They stare into your soul and they don't let you go. You don't want to do that either. You don't want to stare right into their soul. They'll get uncomfortable. All right. Even when someone's just staring directly, I still get a little uncomfortable. That's number two, staring. Number three is healthy eye contact. Healthy eye contact. Now, this is the right way to do it. Healthy eye contact is a good 5 to 8 seconds of healthy eye contact. I'm listening, 5 to 8 seconds. And I'll look away for a moment. And I'll look back at you. How do we do that in a natural way? Here's exactly how I do it. We're talking, I ask you a question, and I ask you the question. When I ask you the question, I look away. So what do you think about this? Do you think that, A should be with B? 5 seconds, I look away. It becomes very natural. It becomes very natural the way you do it because you'll find times where you can look away. For example, every single time when someone asks me a question, like, that's a great question. Look back at you, 5 to 8 seconds. Super simple. But you want to find a healthy balance between looking at them, giving good solid eye contact, and then just breaking it for a moment. Don't break it by looking at your watch. Never break it by looking at your phone. Just break it by looking to the side or look down. Just look in a natural position. Okay? So that's number three. It's healthy eye contact. Lesson number three, mastering eye contact. Are you guys seeing this in 24 minutes? You just got three of the greatest lessons that's going to help you go out there and build an amazing network. But these are the things that people don't understand. What people are teaching nowadays is go out there and tell everything about yourself and show how much deals you've done. They don't care about that at all. They want to talk to you just like they talk to their best friend. They're not talking to their best friend like, look how many deals I have, or these are all the cool things I'm doing. No, they're talking about spirituality. They're talking about fitness. They're talking about philosophy. They're talking about family, kids, friendship. They're talking about the stuff that really matters. So why don't we, when we have conversations with people, start talking about those things? We do that through UPQs, asking unique personal questions. What is your passion? What are you passionate? What's your philosophy? This is something I'm super curious about. I've been at this event for a couple hours. I've been asking everyone this because everyone has such great ideas. But what is your philosophy on life? I noticed that you have this cool outfit, you have this cool aura about you. Like, what is your philosophy? And they're like, oh, let me tell you that this is something I've been studying for 20 years. And they don't even talk to their spouse about this stuff. Because sometimes their spouse just does not give a crap, and that's okay. But you do. You care. You care about their philosophy, and that's why they're going to see you as such a great friend the moment you meet them, right? You might think about it like, why am I listening to Leo right now? Why am I even taking notes on these things? And it's because the approach, my philosophy is I'm just here to teach. I'm learning so much every single day. You'll know when you're on the phone with me, I want to learn from you. I want to learn your ideas. I want to learn, what you've been through in your years because I just ask everybody these questions. And then I come here and here's everything I learned. Hope it helps. I hope it helps. And that's my philosophy. What is your philosophy? What have I found over the couple years? We got a couple minutes left before we wrap up. What did I find over the years is that I have built a $1 billion network because of this. A lot of my friends are multimillionaires. Sometimes when I was like, for example, when I was 17, 18, I was nowhere near their level, but they were still friends of mine. They would invite me to their yachts. They would invite me to their boats, all these cool things. Why? Because I was just this person that was just a white belt mentality. I was there smiling. I was asking everyone questions. I was giving people some food, and when the server would come with the food, I would say, "Hey, can I serve everybody?" And they say, "Yeah." So I'd go serve, like, "Hey, you guys want some?" Just so I could talk to everybody. Like, "You guys want some?" I don't know what it is. It's some like pork thing, but you want to try it here? Where are you from? And I would talk to all these people, and my network went from zero to like boom, super fast. Because now these multimillionaires were like, you got to meet Leo. He's going to be the next big thing. Something about he's got this white belt mentality. And what is it? What is a white belt mentality? Nobody likes the person with a black belt that says, actually, you're wrong. It's this. It's actually the mitochondria of the four. No, nobody likes that person. The person with the black belt that thinks they're right about everything, that researches everything, that knows everything, they're the ones that at the end of their day, in their deathbed, 6 people show up. But the people who have a white belt mentality that might know everything about real estate, but when someone comes up to them and says, "Hey, I've been doing real estate for so long. I've gotten my first deal." You just say, "Wow, how was that first deal? How did that go? What was that story?" Instead of, "Well, I've done 14 deals." Nobody likes that person. Be the person with 26 deals in the pipeline and just say, "Wow, that is amazing. How did you get into real estate?" This is you are so inspiring to me. Timmy, you just got your first deal. You're 26, you're having a good time. Like you inspire me. You inspire me to get better. This is the thing. This is the white belt mentality that we have that creates charisma in everybody. A white belt's so excited. They come into the event, they're excited. They know the speakers, they know all the content they do, but they're just like excited to be there. And someone comes up to them and it's like, and you're talking, you know these guys? Like, this is awesome. Right. And now you're putting on your friends. Now you're putting on your friends. Like, have you heard of Andrew? You gotta talk to Andrew. Andrew is the man. And this is what Andrew does to me because he's the same charismatic person. He's learned these lessons of being ultra charismatic and ultra magnetic. Okay. So those are my lessons, the art of conversation that I'm going to give you today. But there are 22 other primary lessons. And if you enjoyed this, guess what? That was what, 30 minutes? Imagine 2.5 days with me and Andrew. This is why you got to get your butt to Louisville. Hey, I don't like going to Louisville, but I love being with you guys. So get your ticket to Louisville, get your hotel, hang with us for 2.5 days, and get your dang Truca ticket. Paul, put it in the chat. Use code 60day. Use code 60day, and you're going to be able to get a discount on that. But the Truca event, this is going to change your life. If you think these 30 minutes are strong and these 60 days are strong, imagine being with us for 2.5 days. And if you're on the fence, trust me, I'll tell you right now, I'll give you my guarantee. When you come to this event and we sit down, I start teaching these lessons one-on-one to you. I say it to the group, and now you're talking with each other, right? Jerry's talking with Valerie. Valerie, now she's asking these questions. They're asking these questions to each other. And now you guys are all connecting. Now everybody meets everybody in the room and there's no awkwardness. Because when everyone's learning, when everyone's coming to learn the same thing, there is no awkwardness when you guys are talking. Because Carrie will talk to Laura and Laura will talk to Carrie. It's like, it's always, what made you come to the event? You guys have a great conversation from there. So make sure to get the tickets. It's not virtual. It is not virtual. It's fully in person because we want you guys there with us. All right. So I see a lot of you guys signing up already. About half of you already have your tickets. And guess what? I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it till you get your dang ticket because I know it'll change your life. Because we do these 60 days for free. Just to show you, imagine if you paid 600 bucks to come to a ticket, what would that be like? If all this is free, what would that be like if you're actually with us in person? That's where the real boom, boom changes. Okay, let's do some questions. But I want, as we're doing questions, you guys go click the link, buy your ticket. And if you're thinking about, if you're thinking about it, just think about it. Just visualize the scope of what that event's going to be. Okay, questions, let's go.
All right. First question today, Leo, comes from Tim, and he says, if somebody hasn't read either book yet, which should they read first? How to Win Friends and Influence People, or Think and Grow Rich?
Great question. I mean, read both, but if you wanna pick the one that you want to read first, I would read How to Win Friends and Influence People, and then read Think and Grow Rich. Here's an important piece, guys, because I didn't go over this lesson because we didn't have time, but the foundation of being charismatic and having these great conversations and being likable and being loved and being respected by everyone that you meet comes with respecting yourself, comes with having a great conversation with yourself in the mirror. Because when that happens, now everyone you talk to just gets a piece of how you talk to yourself. I talk to you guys how I talk to me. If you hear my conversations with myself, you'll understand every single day. Every single day, I'm telling myself, get up, you got this. It's gonna be a great day today, right, Leo? Let's go. Let's go outside. Let's get some sun. Damn, you look good today. It's gonna be a great day. You're gonna do the sales call? It's gonna be a 40K sales call right here. Yes, sir. Let's do the call. That's how I talk to myself, and that's how I want you guys to talk to yourself too. So, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and Think and Grow Rich, also a great book.
All right. Next question today comes from Emily. She says, what is the best way to show people I'm listening when I'm having trouble hearing them?
Oh, absolutely. I can't hear half the people, but I just sometimes pretend. But here, in all reality, I'm here smiling, and then I'm not always just like smiling like this the whole time. I'm just like giving them a good smile. Like, wow, okay. And then when I want to do a follow, that's why I bring the follow-up question is so important. They'll tell me where they're from. They'll say Seattle. But let's just say we're at the Louisville event. I'm like, wow, how did you get Seattle to Louisville? How did that happen? What's that story? Right, let's just say someone was living in Louisville, but they were from Seattle before. How did you get from Seattle to Louisville? I'm really just listening. All I want to know is how. What's that story? I ask people all the time. There's a writer downer. What is that story? What is that story? Tell me that story. How did you do that? That's incredible. That first deal, how did you get your first deal? Tell me that story. Stories unite everything. Stories unite a country. Communication unites a country. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. So everyone can learn how to communicate with themselves. They can learn how to communicate with others without being softballs. And now, when we have a not so softball country of a bunch of people being able to talk to each other, hey, some problems can be solved. Some problems can actually be solved in this dang country if we don't have a whole generation, a whole group of softballs not being able to listen to other people's opinions. And it starts with having that respect for yourself so you can have respect for other people. Okay. Anything else we got, Paul?
All right. Tim was asking for the script. We have posted that in the chat. I'll post that here again momentarily, Tim. So watch out for that. There's the property information sheet, our opening call script, as we like to call it as well. Maddie asks, I am good at remembering faces in conversations. Do you have any tips for remembering people's names when you meet them?
Triple name association. You do two things. Okay. When they first tell you your name, you say, John. Hey, for example, they tell you their name is John. John, it's so good to meet you. John, tell me where you're from, John. I said their name three times in that first. So it's gonna drill it in my brain. So I'm not gonna go back. What was your name again? That's the last thing you want to. You don't want to say, I used to do this thing. How do you spell your name again? Oh, okay, got it. And they would spell a crazy name and I still wouldn't know. So now what I do is I just say, John, so good to meet you, John. John, where are you from? And then here's what I do. I do something crazy, right? Let's just say it's Jack. They tell me their name is Jack. I do a association with their name. I imagine, and the crazier it is, the more you're going to remember it. I imagine, Jack from Titanic? I imagine 1,000 Jacks just pouring from their head while I'm talking to them, just like, because then I would just remember, oh, that's Jack. That's Jack with all the Jacks from Titanic, pouring out of his head. I'm always gonna remember your name. For a lot of you that I see on here, I've got some crazy image of what I've seen. Like Valerie Flowers, you already know, bunch of flowers pouring through your head, all these different things, right? Mike, Emily, Beverly, I've got all these things. But of course, it helps you start to remember people's name better.
Awesome. I see Adriana had a question about properties under contract and looking for help with dispo. So I see Amanda, one of our free month mastermind members, has dived right in there. Amanda's amazing. So definitely connect with Adriana. And that's the beauty of being part of the Truca community. And there's so much cross-pollination and people working together, collabing and helping each other out in the community. So I love that. And so definitely get your tickets, guys. We just got word that we only have a couple of rooms left on our discounted hotel block, and that is actually going to be expiring on Monday for that discounted hotel block. So definitely get your tickets. So excited to see you all in Louisville.
Absolutely. Get your tickets now. Half of you have them, half of you are going to get it, but it's got to be today. You got to get the tickets today. So we're going to put the chat one more time down there. Get your tickets now. And then in the emails that you get in the confirmation, guys who already have the tickets, the hotels are in there. So you can get there, but you can always talk to me. You can always talk to the team and have a chat there. That's the most important part is that support. If not now, when, right, Mike? Rock and roll. Hey, thanks guys so much. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, you all.